It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the South region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors South.
Some anglers over in the southeastern parts of our region call them crappies. In the southwest part of our region, they're known as crappie. Our Cajun friends down in South Louisiana call them white perch or sac-a-lait. But by whatever name you call the crappie, it is by far one of the most prolific and sought-after game fish species across the southern half of the United States. Hello everyone and welcome into your Fox Sports Outdoors for this week. And on today's show, we're going to give you some techniques, some gear, and some methods that you can use headed into the warm summer weather months to go out and catch you a basket full of great tasting, great eating crappie. Now, if you've been paying attention to our show the last few weeks, you'll notice that we've been concentrating on a technique called long lining. It's a trolling technique, and if you missed those, go watch them on our YouTube channel. Very interesting. We're going to be showing you a very different method to locate and catch them on today's show. And while we're doing that, we are taking you around the region for your latest fishing reports on your local lakes, rivers, and bays from our expert team of insider reporters. Now, in order to test tube this thing out and demonstrate these techniques for you, we're bringing you to a lake in central Texas. It's called Navarro Mills Lake. It's an old lake, been here since the early 60s. Not an overly large lake, but it's a great demonstration because it's loaded with lots of crappie. So we're gonna get the Nitro Z8 launched into Navarro Mills, get started fishing, and right now let's get this thing started by taking you back to the FSN studios for your weekend planner.
Memorial Day is coming at a great time for anglers, with the Salooner tables predicting some of the best fishing of the month to take place on the holiday. Look for peak game fish activity to start a couple of hours after sunrise on Monday, with good overall conditions forecast for the day. Expect the sun to rise at 5:59 and set at 8:14. And we'll have a crescent moon that is 17% visible in the evenings. We're coming right back with all the current freshwater and coastal fishing information from around the southeast. Plus, Kevin Van Dam joins us on the Ask the Pro feature.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Mercury Marine, celebrating 75 years of marine excellence. By Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. And by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker.
Got him. Yeah, we got one. First thing here, look here. I bet it's a crappie. It's a good one too. Oh, big crappie. Big crappie. Look at this dude. Don't jump, don't jump, don't jump, don't jump. Got him. Oh yeah, look at that toad. All right, here's what's happening. That's the shoreline where the crappie spawned earlier this spring. Then what's happened is these fish have transitioned out and they're just roaming out here in flat, open water. There's no brush, no cover, no logs, no grass, and they're real finicky. What I'm having to do is swim that bait across the top of the fish I see. And I'm watching my graph, 8, 10 feet of water, something like that, on my Lowrance HDS 12 back there, my best screen. And I'm actually watching for bait fish. When I see that bait fish, I'm casting this little swim jig across there. That's a Bobby Garland. I'll show you that at the end, but I'm using one with a little swim tail on the back of it. And I'm gently coming back in on a slow, steady retrieve. For the most part, crappie will not go down for a bait. If you're fishing underneath the fish, typically they won't swim down. But if you swim it across the top of them, they will bite it. One other thing I did is I moved out and caught some fish off a brush pile, and the fish were not down in the brush. In the summertime, I'll be fishing straight up and down vertically in the brush and be pulling straight up out of that thick stuff. Right now, they're not. They're swimming around, free swimming the outside edges of the brush. So again, you gotta take that little swim jig and gently swim it across the top of those fish, and they'll come up and eat it. That, my friend, is a good frying size crappie right there. All right, he's safely in the live well. Let's go to some fishing reports right now. Let's check in Tennessee, Kentucky with Crispin Powell.
Hey guys, in the Tennessee and Kentucky region, without a doubt, the hottest thing going right now is the bluegill and shellcracker bite. Everybody I know is just absolutely going out and just crushing them. You can fish a cricket, you can fish it under a float. Main thing, most of all, is carry a kid. Carry somebody that doesn't fish a lot. Great time for you guys to carry your significant other that doesn't like to go out there and sit for hours because the action is nonstop. Aside from that, throughout our area, the majority of the spawn for the bass is over with. Not to say you can't go find some spawners and some bedding fish, but by and large, most of them have spawned. There's some frag arters up shallow. Tennessee River, the Cumberland River, all the little tributaries that really comprise this section of the country. You know, we just had really good weather. We had our 2 hours of spring, and summer's been here, and the bass they're ahead of the game. So what's coming up now, these fish are staging off secondary areas, heading back to their summertime haunts. Carolina rigs are really good. Crankbaits are really good in that mid-depth range, and of course, jigs. What I want to talk to you about right now is catfishing. Catfishing's hot. Cumberland River has been on fire. I've heard some awesome reports of some really big fish being caught. On Kentucky Lake here on the Tennessee River, the fish are up around the rocks. They're spawning heavy, and that should continue for the next couple of weeks. Guys, look, all across Tennessee and Kentucky right now, the weather's beautiful, the water's beautiful, the fishing's happening. Just get here, get out on the water, and enjoy yourself. We'll see you on the water. God bless.
Bobber down. Got him. Oh, he's burying my bobber down. There he comes up. Good crappie. Good crappie right there. All right, big one. Look at that big dude. All right, hey, welcome back everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors today. Talking crappie fishing, heading into the warm summertime months. That's a big fat one right there. And this is perfect to demonstrate what I want to show you here. I've been talking about open water techniques here. Let me show you something. We're going to pan the camera around. This is where the crappie spawned, right here, up in all this shallow, weedy, grassy, thick stuff right in there. That's all spawning territory. But after those fish finish spawning, they migrate back out here. They're going to head out to some deep trees and brush piles and that kind of thing. But in between is that transition time, and these fish will just get out in open water and free swim. I threw that bait probably 40 or 50 feet out away from the shore, and it drops off to about 8 feet of water out there. And that's prime territory for these transition fish as they're just roaming around out there. All they're doing is feeding on bait. That dude's got a fat little belly right there because he's been out there eating little minnows and threadfin shad and little crawfish, that kind of thing. Perfect way to try to catch these fish when you're headed into the summertime months. They don't have to be on brush and cover. They can just be free swimming out there in the middle of nowhere. You just got to get out and make a lot of casts, cover a lot of water. Now that one hit my slip bobber rig. I'm going to show you that up close a little bit later, but it is perfect for catching these fish that are in this open water transition area that are suspended up off the bottom. They're not down on the bottom. This is a great way to catch them. And let's get you over to Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia with your freshwater reports. Jimmy Jacobs, followed by Bob McNally in saltwater.
Brought to you by the Old 96 District, South Carolina's real freshwater coast. Lakes Greenwood, Russell, and Thurman offer outdoor adventures and angling action. For fun family weekends or vacations, visit the historic Old 96 District. May is the month to find striped bass spawning on 12,000-acre Lay Lake. Now the fish will be chasing shad along the shoreline on this east central Alabama impoundment near Columbiana. The stripers are mostly going to be in the upper end of the lake just below Logan Martin Dam. You want to concentrate on creek mouths where cooler water is coming in and fish the points just back up in these creek arms. Kelly Creek, which is the first stream coming in on the northwest side of the lake below Logan Martin, is a good place to start your search. Now most of the stripers are going to be 3 to 5 pounds, but some will top 12 pounds, and occasionally there'll even be a 20-pounder show up. Gizzard shad fished under a float is a good bait. If you want to go artificial, use a super fluke in white or pearl. Over in Georgia, Lake Tobosoffke is just west of the town of Macon. It's a 1,750-acre impoundment, and the largemouth action is good right now. There's a lot of 15 to 20-inch fish being caught there. You want to concentrate on steep banks and points that are downstream of Lower Thomaston Road Bridge. A number 5 or number 7 crankbait would be a good thing to throw. Use Fire Tiger color pattern in murky water, or go with perch or shad if it's clear water. In northern Mississippi, Sardis Lake has a late crappie spawn. We've had a cold spring, a lot of rain in late April, so it's muddied up, and this has pushed the spawn back even further. This week, the 31,400 acre lake, it's just north of Oxford, still has some crappie up on the bank in 1 to 3 feet of water. You want to toss colorful jigs towards vegetation and wood debris to catch those fish.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Fox Sports Outdoors Coastal Fishing Report. This part of the show is brought to you by the state of Mississippi, where the fishing fun is year-round and where the inshore angling is world-class and the offshore fishing is great too. So come to the true South, the state of Mississippi, for your next fishing trip. Well, the summer fishing season has really kicked into high gear throughout the coastal South. Over in Mississippi, Captain Sonny Schindler in Bay St. Louis is telling me that the black drum fishing is on fire. These are near-shore reefs within just a few miles of the beach, and the black drum are running up to 40 pounds, though most of them are 2 to 10 pounds in size. He's using dead shrimp on the bottom, and he's catching them around these artificial reefs that are on the ocean side, the Gulf side of the barrier islands there. He's also catching them around some of the bridges, like the Highway 90 bridge and the Railroad Bridge there in Bay St. Louis. The trout fishing also has been great in the 3 to 4 pound class for fish just outside the grass edges. You've got to find clear water, and you've got to use live shrimp under popping corks. A little bit further to the east, Captain Danny Patillo in Biloxi is telling me that the cobia fishing also was great. They're getting some really big cobia chumming. These fish are going 50 to 70 pounds. There's not a lot of fish, and you got to work for them, but those are huge cobia, and now's the time to get them. Over in Alabama, the fishing has been pretty good in Mobile Bay despite all the heavy rains that we had a few weeks ago. The water's still dark, but it's getting better every day, and some good fishing for redfish is available around the grass edges when the water is clear. Most of that fishing is closer to the open Gulf around Dolphin Island and in the lower part of Mobile Bay. In Georgia, Captain Greg Hildreth says that the triple tail fishing is really kicking into gear. The water is clear, and that sight fishing along the beach when the sun gets high and you can spot those triple tail has been very good. He also says that the trout fishing is improving inshore, and there's a lot of big bull drum being caught. Greg led a couple of anglers a week or so ago to over a dozen redfish that weighing from 20 to 30 pounds. Well, that's it for your Coastal Fishing Report this week. And next time you go fishing, remember to take a youngster with you.
Bobber's down, bobber's down, bobber's down. Take up the slack, got him. What have we got here on the dam? Oh, another good one. Good crappie. All right, one more for the live well, ladies and gentlemen. All right, well, here's one more quick little tip for you on how you can find them in this transition time headed into the summer warm weather months. Look behind me. See that? That's the dam. Don't overlook dams and rock ripraps. They provide a perfect slope, perfect depth for those crappie to roam up and down and feed before it gets really too hot. Plus, even when it gets too hot, they can just keep pulling out deeper and deeper and deeper. Dams and riprap, just like this one, are perfect for catching good crappie during these summer months. Stay with us. We're coming back for more from Navarro Mills in Central Texas, teaching you how to catch pre-summer crappie.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Luz, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. By Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
There's one. What do we got? Oh, big black one. Look at that. Beautiful. All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're on Fox Sports Outdoors today. Doing a little crappie fishing. That'll be a keeper right there. Look at the dark color on that fish right there. What a gorgeous fish. That one hit a little Bobby Garland baby shad, and that's an electric chicken color, by the way. I love that color. And let's talk about another way to catch these suspended fish. We're talking about catching fish that have already spawned, moving back out towards their deep summertime water where they're going to stay all during the hot weather. What's going to happen though is they'll suspend between the top and the bottom. They can be difficult to catch when they do that. Now I showed you earlier that you can suspend that bait at a controlled depth with a slip bobber rig, and that way you know exactly how deep that you're running. Or you can just use a little light crappie bait like this one that I showed you, and you can throw it out there on as long a cast as you can make with a light jig. Count it down, count it about 6 or 7 seconds down, and then give it a slow, steady retrieve. And that'll keep that bait suspended between the top and the bottom. When they're out there just feeding on shad like this, that's what they'll do, suspend up. And if you're not clued into that, you'll be fishing on the bottom, you'll be fishing below the fish, you won't get a bite. Let's go to Inglis Glover over in the Carolinas. He's got your reports from there.
Hey folks, Captain E here with your Carolinas report. This week brought to you by Marshall's Marine, located in Lake City and Georgetown, South Carolina. We're your bass boat specialist since 1969. For all your nitro and bass tracker needs, visit www.marshallsmarine.com. And I tell you, I've been saying it the last couple weeks, that offshore bite's starting to get hot. Well, this week, it's hot. It is just simply hot. The only thing that can cool it down would be my K2 cooler. The mahi-mahi have showed up in large numbers. Right now, those warm water eddies are starting to roll in over that 180 foot of water. This comes right up on that live break. And I tell you, you can get out there, find you some weeds, and just get ready to slam, pack, fill that boat and your freezer full of mahi-mahi, tuna, and wahoo. Also, on the beaches and on the nearshore reefs, one of the most wonderful fish to fight, also tastes pretty good, is the cobia, and it has made its way up the beach. With the full moon tide last week, it has started to push those fish out of the breeding rivers down south, and they are making their way to North Carolina and Virginia. And I'll tell you right now, Ocean Crest Pier, my good friend Sweet Pea up there, reports some great catches of cobia, including a 55-pound cobia, also some king mackerel up there. How about a 45-pound king off the pier? She says that the fish are there, they're coming through with the schools of menhaden, which, like I was getting ready to tell you, you want to make sure you concentrate on those schools of menhaden. Get out in the boat on a calm afternoon, just cruise the beach, have a nice little relaxing ride, and keep your eye out for that big fat pig wallering right in the middle of those menhaden. And also on the reef, make sure you're out there set up with a chum bag hanging out the side of the boat, and get ready for that shark that everybody's going to see swimming at the side of the boat, because guess what? The man in the brown suit is close by, and he's not a shark, he's what you want on the line. And in the freshwater side of things, I tell you, my good friend Captain Sam Jones up on Lake Jocassee has given me a great report this week of some unbelievable rainbows and a real nice 7-pound brown that he caught. He's trolling the depths of 30 to 8 foot, and he's having some great success with some spoons that he rigs up himself. But if you want to go visit JocasseeCharters.com, he'll give you some more info. Hey, remember, I'm Captain E with the Carolinas Report. Work smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
There he is. Oh, big black one. Big black one. Look at that big dude. All right, well, we are catching them. Look at that. Big old black, beautiful crappie right there. We've had a good day today. All right, slip right back down here to that dam, just like we talked about. Free swimming, little crappie jig. They're biting well. Stay with us.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Welcome to the big leagues.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for our Ask the Pro question, your chance for advice from professional anglers. This week, David asks, when should you use a football jig? For the answer, we checked with 4-time Bassmaster Classic champion Kevin Van Dam.
You know, football jigs have become really popular, and there's a reason for that. You know, if you're casting a jig and you want to keep good bottom contact, the design of that football head doesn't allow that hook to roll, and it makes a lot of noise down there with that head banging against the rocks, kicking up the mud and things like that. So if you want to cast a jig in deep water and drag it on the bottom and have a good feel of what's down there, there's nothing better than a football jig. That design is not going to let that hook tip over. It's going to, every time it comes up to a hard object, it makes the back of the jig stand up, so it has more action, more liveliness than a standard jig, and is going to be a great tool for deep water. The downfall with a football jig is typically they have a lighter wire hook and a softer weed guard, and that's designed for those long casts that you make with it when you're fishing in deep water to get a better hooking percentage in the fish. So if you're fishing in really heavy cover and things like that, that's where a flipping jig comes into play. You know, it's got a head design designed to penetrate cover, it's got a heavier hook in it, typically a heavier weed guard, and it's going to be better for that situation. So make sure you pick the right jig for the right situation.
Thanks, Kevin. If you have a question to ask one of the pros, go to our website, follow the Ask the Pro link, and send us your information. Now let's find out which big fish photo wins someone a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
This week's winner is Shane White of Scottsboro, Alabama, showing off not one, but two 6.5 pound largemouth bass he caught out of Lake Gunnersville, Alabama. If you would like to enter the Costa Catch of the Week contest, go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. On the right-hand side of the front page, click on the Costa Catch of the Week box. Follow the instructions, send us your big fish photo. You can win a free pair of Costas. You can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at their website. Go back to the front page at foxsportsoutdoors.com, click on the Costa logo, and there you can see all of the frame and lens styles, including the frames I was wearing on this week's episode called Brine. Next up on the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff feature, it's the right gear to catch big crappie like we caught on this week's show while they're in this transition period. It begins with a swimming bait. If you'd like to just cast that out and reel it back in, this is a 1/24 ounce Bobby Garland Mo-Glo jig head with a baby shad swimmer body on the back. You just throw it out and reel it back in on a slow, steady retrieve. Then for the slip bobber rig, it all begins with a little piece of twine tied on your line to act as a bobber stop, followed by the actual sliding slip bobber, and then we use the little heavier 1/16 ounce Mo-Glo jig head with a Bobby Garland slab slayer body, kind of an orange color with a chartreuse tail. I've got a lot of sympathy for a lot of families who have struggled mightily over the last few years in a very difficult economy. They've had so much trouble paying their bills. They've dug themselves deeper and deeper into debt with seemingly no way out. A few years ago, I ran into some material from a man named Dave Ramsey. You might have seen him on television and radio or on some videos. I actually lived by Dave Ramsey financial principles before I ever read any of his books or saw any of his videos. Dave guarantees that if you live by these financial principles, you'll not only be able to pay your bills, but at the end of your career, you'll have a nice little nest egg to retire on. So, you might want to look up some of Dave Ramsey's books or videos or listen to his radio or television shows. I've known several families who have followed those principles and become financially healthy in a relatively short period of time. Be sure and join us for our show next week. We will be on Thursday at 6 p.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. Until next week, I'm Barry Stokes saying be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.